The Borley Rectory, the most haunted house in England. In the quiet countryside of Essex, England, once stood a home that would become infamous across the world. It wasn't grand, it wasn't Gothic in its architecture. In fact, it looked rather ordinary from the outside. But what went on inside was anything but ordinary. This was the Borley Rectory, a house so haunted, so consumed by dark energy, that it came to be known as the most haunted house in England. Over the years, dozens of witnesses would report chilling phenomena, phantom footsteps echoing through empty corridors, ghostly faces appearing in windows, strange writings etched into the walls, and the spirit of a woman in white wandering the gardens at night. Tonight we're going to step inside Borley Rectory. We'll relive the stories of the families who called it home, and the investigators who tried to unlock its secrets. But I must warn you, the spirits of Borley have a reputation, and some might say, if you listen too closely, they may just follow you home. This is Whispers by Dark. It all began in 1863, when Reverend Henry Bull had the rectory built near the ruins of a medieval monastery. From the very start, locals whispered that the ground was cursed. According to legend, centuries earlier, a young nun from a nearby convent had fallen in love with a monk. The two tried to elope, but they were caught. The monk was executed, and the nun was said to have been bricked alive inside the convent walls. Her spirit, many believed, lingered in Borley. Soon after the Bull family moved in, sightings began. Parishioners would see a veiled woman drifting across the garden late at night, gliding silently, her head bowed as if in mourning. The Bull children reported hearing whispers in their bedrooms, voices of people who weren't there. And servants claimed to hear footsteps following them down the halls, even though they were alone. The family tried to dismiss it, but the haunting was only just beginning. The most famous apparition of Borley was the Lady in White. She was often seen moving silently across the rectory grounds, sometimes pausing beneath a willow tree, her figure pale and glowing in the moonlight. One of the Bull daughters recalled staring out her bedroom window late one night, only to see the Lady in White looking back at her, before vanishing into thin air. Even the villagers came to avoid walking past the rectory after dark. They spoke of shadowy figures in the windows and the sound of a coach, drawn by invisible horses, rattling down the lane in the dead of night. Borley was no longer just a house, it was a legend. After Reverend Bull's death, the house passed to his son, but the hauntings never stopped. By 1928, the rectory was rented to Reverend Lionel Foister and his wife, Mary Ann, and that's when the activity reached terrifying new heights. Objects flew across rooms. Stones were hurled at windows from nowhere. Windows shattered without explanation. Mary Ann herself was the target of violent attacks, scratches appearing across her arms and back, as if invisible hands were clawing at her. But perhaps the most disturbing of all were the writings. Mysterious messages began appearing on the walls, scrawled in pencil. One read, "Mary Ann, please help me." Another, "Light, Mass, prayers." It was as if some tortured spirit was desperately trying to communicate through the walls of the house. Mary Ann insisted she had no part in the writings. They seemed to appear when she was near, as though she were a conduit for the dead. The Foisters endured these terrors for 5 years before finally leaving Borley behind. In the 1930s, Borley Rectory caught the attention of a man who would become forever linked with the house, paranormal investigator Harry Price. Price was a charismatic and controversial figure, but he was fascinated by Borley's reputation. In 1937, he leased the rectory for an entire year. He brought in assistants, psychics, and reporters. He documented strange phenomena, footsteps in empty rooms, bells ringing with no explanation, and sudden cold spots that left investigators shivering. One of the most chilling discoveries came during a seance, when a spirit claimed the house would soon burn to the ground. and that in the ashes, the bones of a murdered woman would be found. Price's work at Borley brought the haunting international fame. Skeptics accused him of exaggeration, but even they couldn't explain away every piece of evidence. The house seemed alive, watching, waiting. In 1939, Borley Rectory was gutted by fire. The blaze swept through the building, leaving little more than charred ruins behind. Locals whispered that they saw figures moving in the flames, ghostly silhouettes twisting in the smoke. And here's where the prophecy came true. During the excavation of the ruins, bones were discovered buried in the cellar. Some believed they belonged to the nun from the old legend. The remains were given a Christian burial, in the hope that it might bring peace to the restless spirits of Borley. But the hauntings did not stop. Even as a ruin, visitors reported strange lights, disembodied voices, and the chilling sense of being watched. Borley Rectory was finally demolished in 1944, but the legend has never died. Even now, decades later, people still report strange phenomena on the grounds where the rectory once stood. A cold wind that comes from nowhere, footsteps in the gravel when no one is there, a pale woman drifting silently through the night. Was Borley truly haunted, or was it the product of overactive imaginations, trickery, and rumor? We may never know the full truth, but one thing is certain. Sometimes when a place is marked by tragedy and death, it never truly lets go. And in the quiet fields of Essex, beneath the soil where Borley Rectory once stood, something still lingers, watching and waiting. So, would you spend a night on those grounds? Let us know in the comments. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more true, scary stories. And you stay safe out there, folks. And we'll see you in the next one.